Hi, everyone. This is Robert Allen. I'm your host for the evening. I just want to let you know that we'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes. So if you want to just make yourself comfortable, and we'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for being here. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. So sit tight, and we'll be getting started shortly. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be getting started in just about 30 seconds with our presentation tonight. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's webinar. Turn my camera on and say hello. My name is Robert Allen, and you might have heard about this a number of ways, maybe on Facebook, maybe through an email. But no matter how you got here, I appreciate that you're here. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about what I'm doing here tonight. Some of you may have attended one or more of my live info sessions regarding hosting online launch parties. And so I've done some on how to host an online launch party, and I've even done a mock online launch party, which was basically it was born out of the fact that on these live sessions that I've been giving, some other people wanted to join in on the launch party and attend, and unfortunately that wouldn't be practical to do, so I decided to do what I called a mock online launch party, and actually did a launch party exactly how I would do it with my team for prospective associates. And it was, really well received. Um, People, wanted more and more and more, and that's why I decided to do this and talk about some of the top questions that I've been getting from people over these last few weeks, as I'm starting to do more and more of these live sessions. So that was my intention tonight. So that's what tonight's presentation is about, taking you through some of these questions. Now, I know some of you have signed up for my session coming up on June the 21st, which is currently maxed out. It was maxed out within about 3 or 4 hours of my announcing it, and I have lots of people on a waiting list to attend that. And I'll have information at the end of this session on how you can get on that waiting list. Um, and see about getting you into that session, or at least notifying you first of upcoming sessions. So, so just to let you know, I'm going to be taking some questions at the end, and we're going to be using the question and answer app that you should see if you're in on the event page. You should see that. If you're directly on the YouTube page, then you can put your question in the comments, and I have Holly who's monitoring those questions, and will be feeding those to me if they come in through that. So, all right, so let's get started, and let me take you through some of the information that I've gathered over these last few weeks, all about the online launch party. And let me start by saying that, you know, I have 30 years of experience in video production, in digital media production. Over the last 15 years, I had, along with my wife and partner in life and everything, Holly Ehrlich, the most successful wedding podcast in the world, called Wedding Podcast Network. We started producing that in 2005. Very early on in the podcast world, and through that developed my love of online media, and of creating content, and then sharing how to do it with other people. So that's really what I'm doing here, and I've always been at what I like to refer to as the bleeding edge of technology. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. So let me go over quickly with you what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to take you through the top questions and hope to answer, at least in part, some of them. Take you through some first steps on actually, you know, what direction to take if you were to incorporate online launch parties into what you're doing. And online launch parties can be applied to anyone in the world of network marketing, to actually be able to reach more prospective associates than you would ever be able to do in an in-person environment. I'll talk a little bit about what's available in terms of education with online launch parties, and then to leave some time at the end to answer some of your questions. Okay, so let's talk about, now these are in no particular order, okay? These are just have come up most frequently since I've started doing these sessions, either during the live sessions or asked of me in some other forum, whether it be on Facebook or through email. So what are the best tools to use for an online launch party? And that question, the answer to that question, could change daily, because there are tools that come on the scene and tools that leave the scene on almost a daily or weekly basis. So right now, you know, we're in a really good position because there are a lot of tools on the scene now that we didn't have just a year or two or even a number of months ago. My favorite right now in doing the launch parties, and for a number of different reasons, and I might not be able to go into too much detail based on time tonight, but I like Zoom meetings. It allows me to utilize an online service, but because of the way it's designed, because of the way everyone is on camera or can be on camera with you, the idea of breakout rooms, it really lends itself to a what I would like to think of as an intimate setting on an online space. Okay, so I like Zoom meetings very much. There's a free version as well as a paid version. I also like Google Hangouts on Air, which is the environment that we're in right now. This is a one-to-many platform where I'm sending this out live to many people out there watching, but it's somewhat anonymous. I don't know who necessarily is watching. I'll be able to see how many people watched, but I won't be able to put faces to name, to names and things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend Hangouts as a primary way of, or Hangouts on Air as a primary way of utilizing it, but the Hangouts app itself, which allows up to 10 people in the room at one time, may be a good alternative. So I don't have anyone else in the room with me now, but I could have up to 9 other people join me, and they would appear in a film strip below my image. So this could be a tool. You could use something like Skype. I like the idea of the video component so that you could see exactly who it is that's talking to you, and have the ability to talk with back and forth. So, those are primary ways, but now we have tools like Blab, which allows you and up to 3 other people in the space. And I might be experimenting a little bit with that in the coming weeks. Plus, there are live video apps now that you could conceivably utilize in an online launch party type environment, things like Facebook Live video. And again, these things are changing almost weekly, if not more often than that. So there are some really good platforms available to us. My favorite right now has to be Zoom. Okay, so people want to know how they find people to come to their online launch party. Now, this is a question that's asked whether you're doing an online launch party or whether you're doing an in-person, a traditional launch party, okay? How do you find people to come to your online launch? Well, the thing is, think about this. If you're having an in-person launch party, you're limited to the people that are close to you, relatively close to you geographically, okay? To go outside of driving distance to where you're having a launch party eliminates and excludes certain people. Well, here's the thing about online launch parties. We have people on now probably from all over the world, okay? I had people corresponding from last time we did one of these live sessions. I was chatting with some associates in Australia about doing online launch parties. So here's the thing. The same challenges are going to exist in trying to find people to come to your online launch party as you would having to come to your in-person launch party. But let me tell you this. I've found that it's much easier to get people to come to the online launch party than it is to the in-person launch party. Why do you think that is? I think part of it is because people are lazy. No, but seriously, I think it's much easier for people to attend in an online environment than it is for an in-person environment. Okay, think about, getting babysitters, if you've got, a house full of kids, or you've got to, prepare a meal, or you have to do continue some work that you've taken home. What better way than to pop open your iPad, or prop up your phone, or open your laptop and attend a launch party. It also gives much less of a reason for people to say no. Okay. If you're presenting them with the opportunity to join in on the discussion and get information right from their own home, right from their own laptop, pop open that laptop and boom, you're in the room. Okay. How can they say, well, gee, I don't have time? Okay. So sure, getting and to come over to your place or to wherever you're having an in-person launch party, okay, that may take some effort. Well, I need a babysitter, my wife's not going to be home, in time. I can't get over there. I've got, work to do. I have, the dog is sick and I need to be around, whatever it is. Well, now, you've taken those excuses away and you've given them an opportunity to come to your online launch party. And I think what you're going to find is, as you put it out there, and let's say you're going to use Facebook as your primary resource, you put that out there, just think about how many people throughout your life that don't live near you, but now, when following your journey, whatever you're doing, and now have the opportunity, once you've announced that you're going to have an online launch where people can come in and learn about what you're doing, and you're sharing it with them in that environment. Gosh, that to me, that is for sure a win-win situation. Okay, so let's talk about some of the differences in an online launch party versus an in-person launch party, because people always, that's why they wanted the mock, so that they could see what it looks like and what it feels like. Okay, they were having a hard time understanding how it is that they could they could do this effectively. How do I make this a similar experience as I would if people were at an in-person event? Okay, so here's the thing. Some platforms will allow you more flexibility than others. Okay, this is where I like Zoom. Okay, especially for a launch party environment, right? So here's why I like Zoom, because when I have a launch party online, I want to have it be as close to an in-person experience as possible. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, the first thing is, when I'm having an in-person launch party, I want to make it warm and inviting. Okay, so what I want to do is I want people to be comfortable, right? So I set out some comfortable seating. I'll put out some samples of whatever it is that I'm sharing. Okay, that's what I can do in the online environment. Where your participant is can't be controlled by you, but hopefully they're someplace comfortable. And obviously you can't have them physically touch your products, okay, or taste your products. Okay, that's what you can't do. Everything else, short of giving them a hug, you can do in the online environment. So what do you do in an in-person environment? So people arrive, you've got some music playing, right? So within Zoom, I can actually bring up one of my playlists and be playing music as people arrive. I'll prepare my slides so that I'll have a slide up and it says, we'll be starting shortly. And then just the way I did, I'll pop in, okay, and I will welcome everybody or tell everyone that I'm starting shortly. Okay, so I'm welcoming people just as I would, I see the click count coming up as people log in. So I want to welcome them. I want to say, hey, we're going to be starting in just a few minutes. And if you were logged on earlier, as I was doing that just the same while I had the first slide up. So you want to create that warm and inviting environment, just as you would if you were having people in an in-person environment. Okay, so you want to set up your launch party to mimic those same things that you would in an in-person launch party environment. I hope that makes sense to you. So there are some distinct differences that you can't achieve in the online space, but you should try and make it as close as possible. Okay, so don't forget, I'm going to take your questions. If you want to use the question app, or if you want to use the YouTube page comments, you can do that, and we're monitoring both of those, hopefully, and even on the Google event page, you can write your comments in there, your questions in there, if you like as well. Okay, so let's go on to number 4. this was a really popular question. Okay, was where was I getting the slides that I was using in my online launch party? Okay, so here's the thing. You can use any slide creation program that you like, that you're comfortable with, whether it be PowerPoint or Keynote if you're on a Mac, or Google. Google has in their apps, their Google apps, their Google Docs. There is a presentation app, and you can actually prepare your presentation there. So that's the mechanics side of it, right? But content-wise, you can go into your back office, and there are resources in your back office under Browse Library where you will have pre-made presentations that you can use, slides with product on it, slides with information on it, all compliant, okay, because it's all been produced by the company, so that you can have that and you can utilize those. And that's what I do for my presentations, my online launch parties, right? I take just the slides that I need from the presentation, the slides that I'm comfortable with. I also include some videos, the pre-made videos that are available to us in our back office, okay? Also really, really helpful in utilizing that for your presentation. Then, of course, you know, in terms of the content for the presentation, you're going to want to have, just as you would in person, you're going to want to have a few of your team members share their story, okay? Very important. If you're going to want to use before and after photos, okay, you can use those as well, and then utilize the pre-made slides in addition to the slides that you're going to be using. So there could be a mixture of both the slides that you create and the slides that are created for you by the company. And check in the back office under Browse Library. That's where you're going to find all of that great content for your presentations. Okay, so you've done the online launch party. Everyone wants to know about follow-up. Okay, now it's almost identical, right, to in-person follow-up. Okay, now some of you might have heard me mention something about breakout rooms. Okay, so Zoom meetings has a really great function called breakout rooms. I go into more detail in this in my how to host an online launch party presentation, but Zoom has the ability to put people into different rooms. Okay, so when it comes time for the end of the launch party, when I have people who are ready now to join me and want further information and are ready to enroll, okay, I can put them in a breakout room with one of my team members to work one-on-one with them, or in a small group, or if I have people at the end of the live event, the live online launch party, that want some information on the compensation program, I can take those people into a breakout room as well. But let's say the party's over and you've closed out the meeting. Okay, hopefully you have a way through how you've invited people to your launch party. You have a way of contacting them. You have contact information that they've left, whether it be, you know, at least their name and their email address. Okay, so you'll want to do your follow-up, whether it be through a mail program. Some of you may have gotten my email through MailChimp. Okay, you'll want to use a legitimate email program that allows people to opt out if they choose to, and you'll want to input the information into that, and you'll want to do a follow-up, or you'll want to call them. So when you invite them to the launch party, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to gather the information that you'll need to do the follow-up. So there are lots of ways you can create a landing page for people. You can create an Eventbrite event. and have tickets for the event, okay, they're free. The tickets are free, but you have people sign up so that you're able to have your prospective associates information, and most importantly, how to follow up on that information. Okay, that's key. It's one thing to have them in the room with you. It's another thing to follow up with them. Okay, so it's really important whether you're doing this in the in-person environment or in the online environment. Follow up should be the same. So you'll have the same contact information, and you'll either reach out by phone, email, text, or all three, okay, or social media messaging. Whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever you sense that they're most comfortable with, is the way that I would recommend that you do your follow-up, okay? So let's talk about next steps on how you become even more comfortable with doing online launch parties, okay? So we have a lot of information available to us, okay, on network marketing, on online education. So, I would encourage you to sign up for as many webinars as you can, okay, that center on either presenting, the mechanics, the technical aspect. We're not talking too much tonight about content, because the content is up to you, what you're putting into your presentation. But there's a lot of information, business training. The more comfortable you are with the content that you're sharing, the easier it's going to be for you to present, okay? So education can come through webinars. It can come through live video. There's been lots of live video in some of the business groups on Facebook. Okay, a lot of really great coaches are posting live video information. And of course, we have a very strong library of podcasts available to us. Okay, we're very lucky in that sense, is that there's a great deal of information by the way of podcasts that are available to us. So not only in the live environment like we're doing right now, but also in the recorded environment, education follow-up, because the more comfortable you are with the content, okay, everything that you're sharing, the more comfortable you'll be in presenting it to others. Okay, so I wanted to leave a few minutes, see if anyone had any questions. I know some of you may not have even attended any of my presentations yet on the online launch party. Some of you may have. So if you have any questions, you can submit them in the Q&A app that you see there, or in the comment area on either the event page or on the YouTube page, wherever you'd like to leave a question or a comment. And if you don't, that's okay too. But while you're thinking of any questions you might have, I wanted to share something with you. I mentioned earlier that I am having a live session on June the 21st on how to host an online launch party. And I will be using Zoom meetings for that. And it booked up within just a few hours of my announcing it on just one Facebook group. Okay. And because of the nature of Zoom, I've got a certain amount of seats in the room. So for this particular session, there is a waiting list for that session, but and there's quite a number of people on it. I'm hoping to release some more seats in that session for you to be a part of it. Okay, but until then, there's a waiting list. But so here's the thing. I'm gonna just give me a second. I'm gonna share this now, and so if you want to sign up and get on the waiting list, okay, here's the information for that. can go to this link, and I'm going to actually put it live in the showcase as well. Okay, so let's see. We've got so that's up there. So you can go to that bit.ly link there, bit.ly/host online launch, and sign up, get on the waiting list, and I will try and release seats for more people to join in. But if I can't release more seats, then I will be sure, I promise, to let everyone on that list know first on the next session that I am going to be giving. Okay, so you guys will have the first choice to be on this this launch here, this online coming up on the 21st. So I've got a question I'm going to bring up on the screen here, and I'm going to read it. Do you feel that you have more or less enrollments from online versus in-person parties? Do the online people need more touches before enrolling? That's a great question, Bonnie. That's a really great question. So here's the thing. We've had success both ways, but I have to say that we've probably had an easier time enrolling. Guess where? In the online environment. Okay, so our online parties, we have had more enrollments. We have had more enrollments in the online environment than we have had in person, because it's much easier to get people. And here's the thing, we've had, so I'm in New Jersey, so we've done them in New Jersey, New York area, and we can draw people from 45 minutes or so radius, and sometimes in the New York, New Jersey area, that's 5 miles. You can go 5 miles in 45 minutes. But again, remember, in the online environment, you're not limited geographically at all. So you can draw from literally all over the world. So your list then becomes even more valuable. The people that you wouldn't obviously invite to your home because they don't live nearby can then be invited in the online environment. Okay. So we have seen it, and it makes sense. We have seen an easier time of getting people signed up in the online environment. So thank you, Bonnie, for that question. If anyone else has any other questions, let me check the comments on YouTube. Okay, and nothing here. Okay, so good. So I want to just make sure that I get everyone's question answered. I'm going to put up my contact information for you, and also I'm going to post up the link for you here to the launch party sign up. If you'd like to do that. So that should be live for you guys to see as you're watching the event. That should pop up both in the event as well as YouTube. So you should be seeing that. But that's just a link that we saw on the screen just before that I shared with you in the showcase. You guys watching on the event page, I believe, is seeing that. Okay, so let me bring up the question, the Q&A. Oh, I know, I was going to bring up my my contact information for you. So let's take a look at that, and I'll put that up so that you can have that. So you've got my email address there, as well as my direct phone. If you need to contact me. So I would encourage you guys, if you want to sign up, get on that waiting list for the event coming up on the 21st, and hopefully be able to get you in to that. So last chance for any questions anyone has. They can post it there. You can always get in touch with me afterwards. If you have any questions, I'm around on the Facebook groups, and you can look me up on Facebook as well. Okay, thank you very much for being a part of this session today on the top questions that I've received regarding the online launch parties. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to share this with you. I hope to see you all on an upcoming session of mine. If you have any ideas of anything else that you'd like me to present regarding anything concerning online video, digital content production, I'd be happy to share that with you. And if anybody needs any special personal one-on-one attention, you can reach out to me in that regard as well. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for attending tonight, and I hope to see you in a session sometime soon. Good night.